They once called me worthless, a failure with nothing more than a high school diploma. My wife's family, doctors, professors, and people who measured a person's value by degrees and titles, never accepted me. Years passed, but the scars of their mockery never faded. 9 years later, I saw them again at my wife's sister's wedding. The grand hall sparkled with chandeliers, every guest dressed as though attending a royal gathering. For them, it was not just a wedding, it was a parade of their prestige. When I walked in, silence rippled through the room, broken only by my mother-in-law's sharp voice. "Why is this mistake here?" she hissed, not even lowering her tone. Her daughter, the bride, smirked and added with venom, "You're not welcome. We don't need some uneducated loser ruining our photographs." The laughter that followed was cruel, familiar. It echoed the same ridicule I'd endured years ago. But before I could speak, the groom's voice cut through the room. His face had gone pale. "How dare you speak like that? Do you know who this man is?" he began, but I gently interrupted with a smile. "No," I said softly, letting my words hang in the charged air. "They don't know." Whispers spread like wildfire. For years, they thought they had erased me from their lives. But what they didn't realize was that while they laughed, I had been working. Back then, when they mocked me at every dinner, when they whispered behind my back, I stayed silent. Not because I was weak, but because I was building. I took small jobs, worked nights, saved every penny. Then came my chance. I apprenticed under a seasoned entrepreneur who taught me real estate, investments, and the language of business. Every year, while they flaunted degrees, I built foundations they could never dream of. I had created a chain of businesses, invested in medical technology companies, the very field they worshiped, and had become a silent force behind breakthroughs they proudly bragged about. I never showed them, never told them, until that night. The room froze as I spoke. "You spent years calling me a defect, mocking me because I didn't hold a degree. But while you were busy laughing, I was busy building." Then I turned to the groom. "Tell them." He hesitated only briefly before nodding. His voice rang out clearly. "This man is one of the major investors in the research company that launched my career. Without his support, I wouldn't be here today. In fact, many of the advancements your family brags about were made possible because of him." Gasps filled the hall. Faces turned white. The same relatives and colleagues who had sneered at me only moments before now looked at me with a mix of shock and disbelief. My mother-in-law stuttered, "No, that's not possible. He's just a high school graduate." "Yes," I replied calmly. "That's what you always said. But paper doesn't measure vision, persistence, or discipline. You cut me off from your family, but you've been thriving on my support without even realizing it." And then I delivered the final blow. This venue, where you stand so proudly tonight, it belongs to me. I bought it last year, which means I paused, letting the silence sharpen. "You didn't invite me here. You came into my house." The hall erupted in stunned whispers. Some laughed in disbelief. Others clapped quietly. The bride's face went pale, her smirk gone, replaced by trembling humiliation. My mother-in-law shook with rage, but couldn't find words. The groom stood firmly at my side. "From this day forward, you will treat him with respect. Without him, I wouldn't be here as your son-in-law." His declaration shattered the last of their arrogance. The bride tried desperately to salvage her pride. "This is my wedding," she shouted, but no one paid attention. The guests' eyes were on me, not her. And then, softly, I leaned forward and said for everyone to hear, "You try to make me less, but I was never less, and tonight proves it." Applause began at the back of the hall, and spread until half the room was clapping. For me, not for them. That night became their undoing. The wedding that was meant to showcase their superiority turned into their humiliation. For years afterward, whenever they attended social events, whispers followed them. "Isn't she the one who called her son-in-law a defect at her own daughter's wedding?" Their reputation, once polished, was forever tarnished. Meanwhile, I kept building. My businesses expanded, my investments thrived, and my name carried weight in industries far beyond their reach. But I never flaunted it. I lived quietly, peacefully, building my legacy on resilience and integrity, not on shallow titles. They tried to erase me. They tried to brand me a failure. But the only flaw that night, the only true defect, was their arrogance. Years ago, I told them, "You have no idea." Now they finally do,